Hey everybody, welcome to Texas Tech TV. Brian Hanni with Jamie Lent getting set for the Coral Gables Regional. Texas Tech back in the NCAA Tournament for the first time in 10 years, Jamie. And a lot of excitement about the Red Raiders, the way they played this year, but a lot of momentum behind some of these other teams, starting with Columbia in the Friday matchup. This is a team that won 21 of its final 24 games. Miami closed with 27 of 30 wins before the ACC Tournament, so there's some real rolls on by these couple of teams. And can't forget about Bethune-Cookman either. 16 regional appearances now. They've got more tradition than I think folks realize.
Well, these are really four baseball teams, Brian, that have had terrific seasons, and that's why they're in the postseason. I think if you're looking at the Red Raiders and what they need to do to get this thing going off to the right, on the right foot, I think it starts with Chris SADBERRY, and he's my number one key for that first game. You need quality starting pitching. That's something the Red Raiders have had at times this year, but haven't had it in a consistent basis. And I think SADBERRY's start on Friday afternoon in that first game is huge for Tech. Not just because of what he does for that game, but I also think it's huge for if you can save your bullpen a little bit that's been so good for you. It allows you to use them differently and maybe more frequently as the weekend goes along with some other guys that probably aren't going to go as deep into the game. So number one key for me for the Red Raiders is Chris SADBERRY getting off to a terrific start and going 6, maybe even 7 innings in that game against Columbia on Friday afternoon. After that, I think you look at the Red Raider offense, and we've seen some really good things from 3, 4, and 5 in their lineup. Tyler Neslony, Eric Gutierrez, and Adam Kirsch have been terrific. But I think it's going to have to be the supporting cast who's really going to have to step up in this one as well. Guys maybe towards the bottom of the lineup, like Hunter Redmond, who's been great for the Red Raiders this year, or maybe even a junior and Tim Proudfoot, who does it with the glove and at the bat as well, or maybe even at the top of the lineup, Brian Burleson or Steven Smith. Some of those guys have to help that core 3 guys out in the middle. If Tech can do those kind of things, I think they really have a good chance to compete and go deep into this regional.
Great keys. You know, it's not often in a college baseball season or in any level of baseball when you say middle relief was the key to a season. But when you take a look at Johnny Drozd, you look at Cameron Smith and Corey Taylor, who late in the year became more of a starter, those 3 guys, in my opinion, were as key as any. And we saw Taylor and Smith really falter in Oklahoma City. Not their typical effort. I have confidence, and I know you do too, that they're going to bounce back strong. If they do, what weapons to bring out of the pen?
Yeah, absolutely. The versatility that those guys bring to you, the guys that can start and come out of the bullpen. But I think when you're at your best, you're using those guys for 2 and 3 innings at a time. Those guys that can give you a changeup from the normal starting pitcher. I think where Tech has had their struggles is when those guys have been asked to try to go 5 or 6 innings long, and they're not as good, as most pitchers aren't. So if you can get solid starting pitching, I think that makes those great guys, those great bullpen guys that you're talking about, even better when they're used in a smaller basis.
As for the Friday matchup with Columbia, we thought at first it would be David Spear, the talented left-hander on the mound for Columbia. This is a guy with a 75-7 strikeout-to-walk ratio and someone that Matt Gardner, assistant coach for Texas Tech, is very familiar with. He coached him in the Cape Cod League. Just found out today, though, George Thanopoulos is going to be the starting pitcher. He's a right-hander. Strikeout-to-walk ratios aren't as good, maybe a little more velo, good pitchability guy as well. So a righty they'll face on Friday.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that you love about this offense is it really hasn't mattered that much about facing right-handers compared to facing left-handers. It's about doing the little things. And unfortunately, the Red Raiders didn't do some of those little things coming down the stretch at times. When you look back to the weekend at Kansas and then you look at the struggles of the Big 12 tournament, they can get back to doing those little things. And when I say little things, situational hitting, moving runners over, getting down sacrifice bunts. If you can do those kind of things, you've got enough pop in your lineup to score, put up some really crooked numbers, but at the same time you have to do the little things to get those shots, get that done, and hopefully Texas Tech's able to learn from the struggles of the Big 12 tournament and get that done this weekend.
It may sound elementary, but the clubs that get the timely hits will be the clubs that are playing on Sunday and Monday. You look at Columbia's offense and Miami's offense, the numbers don't jump off the page necessarily. Columbia's a 265 hitting team, Miami at 262, but I just told you how hot they were down the stretch. They were coming up with the key hit in the key spot. The Red Raiders have been good at that at times too, but we'd like to see more of that than what we saw in Bricktown, and hopefully that starts in the Friday game versus Columbia. For Jamie Lent, this is Brian Hanni on Texas Tech TV.